Hey guys, I came across this old 90s Trek 930 mountain bike made of chrome moly, and I decided to do something kind of crazy. I'm going to chop it up, and I'm going to take all the pieces, and I'm going to build something that's a little bit on the wild side. I'm going to attempt to build a trials frame. I've never ridden a trials bike. I don't know how to, but I'm going to build one. So that's the plan today. So I hope you enjoy the video. So we're going to start with some disassembly. There's a lot of the pieces that are already removed. So I wanted to take a little bit of time now to talk about what a trials bike is. So if you've ever seen any of the videos, or if you haven't, I recommend watching some of those, and you're going to see guys that are just hopping around on one wheel, jumping from the back wheel to the front wheel, doing pivots, just all kinds of really cool things. And I don't know that I have, well, I know I don't have the skill for that, but I really want to try it. And it looks like a lot of fun. And this old mountain bike, giving it a little bit of new life and trying to do something a little bit different, it just seemed like a lot of fun. And that's what I was trying to accomplish with it. Make sure your safety glasses. I know some of you guys are probably looking at me cut apart this chrome moly frame from the 90s and thinking that I'm committing some sort of sin or something like that. And, to you guys, I apologize. But this bike was just sitting in the corner and really not being used for anything. So it just seemed like a really good thing to do, for me anyways. Alright, so these are the tubes I got. I want to kind of draw up what I'm going to go for as far as geometry goes. Okay, so as far as all that goes, I consulted ChatGTP to kind of help me out with some of the geometry. And I specifically asked it to kind of help me with something that's kind of beginner friendly, something that I could learn on. So it suggested a 2-inch plus bottom bracket height over top of the axles and a 71-degree head tube angle. Other than that, just kind of trying to keep everything low. So that's what I'm doing. Alright, so I've got my layout here, and one of the really cool things I've ran into, these lugs are mild steel, so I can weld to these. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this, I'm going to set this up. So being that the lugs are mild steel, and I really didn't know that initially whenever I was cutting this frame apart, if I had to do it over again, now knowing that, I would have been a little bit more careful in the way that I cut it apart. I would have tried to aim towards the center of the lug and try to keep as much meat on both sides as possible for re-welding. I found that to be actually really cool. I thought I was going to have to do a lot of brazing. And you'll notice as I'm welding this up, I'm taking the frame pieces and I'm laying them on the flat surface here in the garage. And if you plan to do something like this, which I doubt most anybody would ever try to do this, but if you ever did, you definitely want to try to find a flat spot to do this if you don't have a frame jig. I don't have a frame jig, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So and then I'm using these pieces of plate steel because these tubes are all different diameters. So some of these plate steel is a little thicker than other pieces. I've got a piece of 11 gauge, the larger rectangle, and then the oddly cut piece is a piece of 7 gauge. So there's about roughly a 1/16 of an inch difference between those two gauges. So which is honestly exactly what I needed, because this top tube is 1 1/8 and the bottom tube is 1 1/4, and radial, that's 1/16 difference. So it worked out really well. So you'll notice also that I've got the rear wheel inside the triangle. Now that's intentional. This is kind of a little trick that I learned on my first frame build. And what I do is I look down the frame with the wheel in, and this is how I get everything lined up properly. I look down at basically like I were looking down a rifle, and try to make sure that that wheel is perfectly in line with the top tube bar along with the down tube bar. And you can see that it's really straight. So right here, I'm grinding out the webbing near the dropouts on both sides. And I'm doing that so that I can collapse this top chainstay down to try to give it that sharper angle. And I slowed the video down here because honestly, this is kind of satisfying. So this concludes this part of the video. I'm going to make a part 2 where I follow through and get the rest of this kind of buttoned up. And hopefully I'll get some footage of me riding it. Hopefully I don't wreck, but if I do, I'll definitely put that in the video. So keep an eye out for part 2, and like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.